Democratic Party, we have a lot of work to do to make up for our failures in the past. We got crushed in this last election.
Donald Trump has been back in the White House for over a year now.
The best-selling hat. Trump was right about everything. And I don't say that in a braggadocious way, but it's true. I've been right about everything.
The easy thing for the Democrats to say is that the country will come back around and that candidates like Kamala Harris will have another shot.
Could it be you? Possibly. Have you made a decision yet?
No, I have not.
I'm looking forward to who presents themselves in 2028 and who meets that moment. And that's the question for the American people.
But if you look at the data and zoom out, this loss wasn't a fluke. It fits a much bigger pattern in American politics. Every time a party loses power, the big question is, was it just about the candidate, or was there something deeper going on? Harris's defeat is part of a wider threat. It wasn't just a failed campaign like, oh well, let's move on to the next one. It's the symptom of something more ominous inside the Democratic Party. So in this video, we're going to walk through the 7 key reasons that show why Democrats have a serious 2028 problem. Stick around until the end, because regardless of how you vote, these problems tell us something deeper about American democracy itself.
I fear that we will not have an election in 2028. I really mean that in the core of my soul.
Hi, if you're new here, my name's Dr. Vinay Raniga, a former political leadership scholar at the University of Oxford. I'm passionate about ideas that build nations and help people live better lives. And I would love for you to hit that subscribe button so we can continue to make videos just like this for you for free forever. The first reasons Democrats are in trouble is simple. They don't have a clear leader for 2028. Normally when a party loses the White House, a natural heir emerges. Think about Reagan. After Reagan, you had George H.W. Bush. But today, if you ask Democrats who their 2028 candidate is, you'll get a blank stare. Polls show this vividly. A CNN survey in mid-2025 asked Democrats to name the person who best represents the party's values. Only 10% said AOC, 9% said Kamala Harris, 8% said Bernie Sanders, but the biggest chunk, 30%, said no one. Harris, despite being vice president and a nominee in 2024, doesn't command universal respect in the party. In fact, her approval ratings have been consistently underwater, and even among Democrats, there's hesitation. Governor Gavin Newsom of California has been trying to raise his profile with slick videos and national speeches, but he polls in the low teens. Transport Secretary Pete Buttigieg had a moment of buzz in 2020, but now sits in single digits. Gretchen Whitman, Michigan, and J.B. Pritzker in Illinois are mentioned, but outside their states, most Americans don't even know who they are. Now what this means is that the Democrats look like a solar system with no sun. The energy is spread across different orbits and there's no gravitational center. Compare that to the Republicans who can rally around Donald Trump and you see the difference immediately. Even the election in 2024, you saw the difference. Trump had that gravitational energy to pull in a serious team like J.D. Vance, Tulsi Gabbard, or Vivek Ramaswamy. However, the Democrats don't have that.
The Democratic brand is pretty bad.
Democrats don't have a clear message that resonates beyond their base. Ask voters what Republicans stand for and you'll hear the words like strength, patriotism, security. Poll after poll shows the majority of Americans think Republicans are decisive leaders who get things done. Democrats, by contrast, seem to have a messaging problem. They try to be everything to everyone, but end up with a diluted brand. Strategist James Carville said it best. He was hammering this point for years. His advice? The Democrats have to be the party of the people who are trying to make it. They need a 4-word message. In other words, keep it simple. And that 4-word message is interesting. As soon as I said that, you know the Republicans.
Make America great again.
Make America great again!
Make America great again.
Make America great again. Everyone knows what that means, but it's big enough to embrace other ideologies. Meanwhile, Democrats float between defend democracy, build back better, and fighting for working families. Each might sound fine, but together they blur into static. And when voters aren't sure what a party stands for, they don't vote for it.
For every blue-collar Democrat we will lose in Western PA,
we will pick up 2, 3 moderate Republicans in the suburbs of Philadelphia.
The third reason is structural. Even if Democrats win more votes, they can still lose the presidency. The Electoral College has been moving against Democrats for decades because Democrats pile up huge margins in big states like California and New York. Their votes are essentially wasted. Meanwhile, Republicans win smaller states by narrow margins, but these states carry disproportionate weight. Here's the math. After the 2020 census, reappointment shifted electoral votes towards Republican-leaning states like Texas, Florida, and North Carolina, while Democratic strongholds like California and New York actually lost seats. Analysts project that by 2032, Republicans could gain 5 more electoral votes just from population shifts, while Democrats could lose 5. That might sound small, but in close elections, it's decisive. In 2024, Harris would have needed to sweep the entire blue wall, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and still win Arizona and Nevada just to barely reach that magic number of 270. But under the new map, that combination might not even be enough. So the Democrats' path to victory is narrower and the Republicans' path is wider even before a single vote is cast.
We won the evangelicals. We won with young. We won with old. We won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
The fourth reason is that the coalition Democrats were counting on is starting to break apart. For years, Democrats believed demographics were destiny, that as America grew younger, more divisive, and more urban, their share of the electorate would rise automatically. That was true for a while, but in 2024, those assumptions collapsed. Take Latino voters. In 2020, Joe Biden won Latinos by 25 points. In 2024, Kamala Harris lost them by 3 points. Pew Research found that Donald Trump's share of Latino voters jumped from 36% in 2020 to 48% in 2024. Now, recently, the Latino vote in 2025 has been dwindling for Trump, as people are scared about the economy and the prices in the supermarket. However, that doesn't mean that they're shifting back to the Democrats. They're not stoked with what they're pushing either. The same story appears for black voters. Harris still won the majority in 24 by about 83%, but Trump doubled his share from 8% in 2020 to 15% in 2024. That's the highest Republican performance among black voters in decades. And then there are young people. Turnout among 18 to 29-year-olds dropped to 47% in 2024 compared to 50% in 2020. That might not sound huge, but in swing states it matters. Within that group, the gaps are striking. Young women backed Harris by 17 points, but young men backed Trump by 14 points. Among white young voters, Trump actually led by 10. Finally, working class voters. Democrats used to be the party of the working class, but in 2024, 2/3 of non-college white voters backed Trump. Even among working class Latinos and black voters, Trump made gains. As Bernie Sanders said after the election, if the Democratic Party forsakes the working class will abandon them. So the coalition Democrats built around Obama is no longer automatic. It's fragile and parts of it are drifting towards the other side. The Democrats need to have a good, hard look at themselves in the mirror. Which coalition of voters are they targeting? And which policies and what type of messaging will best help them get out that vote?
So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
The fifth reason is internal division. Democrats are split between their progressive wing and their moderates, and those splits play out in public. Progressives argue for big structural change, Medicare for all, the Green New Deal, student debt cancellation. Moderates argue for incremental reforms and fiscal discipline. On cultural issues, the split is even sharper. Progressives emphasize identity and social justice. Moderates warn that woke language alienates swing voters.
This idea of purity and you're never compromised and you're always politically woke and all that stuff. You should get over that quickly.
It was Representative Elisa Slotkin of Michigan who said this same point. The party's a solar system with no sun, warning that Democrats are turning our guns on each other instead of uniting against Trump. Polling backs this up. When asked in 2025, 42% of Democrats said the party should move towards the center, while only 20% wanted it to move left. At the same time, nearly 80% said that they wanted Democrats to be more combative toward Trump. It's a contradictory mix. Be moderate on policy, but more aggressive in tone. And that tension is hard to resolve. In 1968, Democrats split over Vietnam and lost to Nixon. In 1980, they split over Ted Kennedy's challenge to Carter and lost to Reagan. In 2020, the Sanders-Biden split nearly repeated itself. Unless Democrats find a way to bridge these divides, they risk confusing voters and depressing turnout. Moving it to the present day, Zohran Mamdani is the most high-profile Democrat right now. And his campaign is both far left in economics and in social policy. So what does that tell the Democrats about 2028? Be more like Mamdani or be moderate? That choice is still up for grabs.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context.
The sixth reason is the charisma gap. Like it or not, personality matters in presidential politics. Trump has it, Reagan had it, Obama had it. Harris and most of the Democratic bench do not have it. In a 2024 YouGov poll, only 22% of Americans said Harris was more charismatic than Trump. 49% said Trump was. That's a 27-point gap. This isn't just about likability or a vibes election, it's about energy. Trump rallies thousands of people with off-script monologues on Joe Rogan.
One of the beautiful things about you is that you freeball and you're just talking. We've highlighted you on the show many times when you did this Biden impression where he's walking around, he doesn't know what he's doing. It's funny. It's stand-up. It's funny stuff.
Reagan could charm an audience with a joke. Obama inspired with soaring speeches. Harris and others like Newsom or Buttigieg come across as polished but flat, competent but uninspiring. Look, this is the truth. If Democrats can't find a candidate who excites people, they'll keep losing the energy and vibes battle, even when voters agree with them on policy. I'm sorry to say, but in the world of social media, vibes do matter. People are watching constantly. So what you say, how you behave, how you act, plays a big part in who people vote for. The final reason is history. If you look back, parties out of power often struggle to win back the presidency, especially when they lack a strong leader or a clear message. In 1988, Republicans passed the presidency from Reagan to Bush because Reagan was popular and the economy was strong. Democrats had no clear alternative, and Michael Dukakis got crushed. In 2008, Democrats capitalized on Bush's unpopularity and ran a charismatic outsider, Barack Obama, to take the White House. In 2016, Democrats tried to extend Obama's legacy with Hillary Clinton, but the coalition wasn't strong enough, and Trump slipped through. The lesson is that when parties lose power, they need either a crisis to exploit or a charismatic figure to rally around. Trump may be polarizing, but unless there's a major economic crash or foreign policy disaster, incumbency will give Republicans the upper hand. International examples tell the same story. Thatcher's Conservatives in Britain held power for over a decade because Labour stayed divided. In Canada, Pierre Trudeau's Liberals won repeatedly because the opposition couldn't unite. Unless Democrats learn from these patterns, history suggests they'll struggle again in 2028.
The Fox News decision desk can now officially project that Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States.
So let's put that all together. Kamala Harris lost in 2024. This wasn't a one-off. It was a product of a deeper weakness inside the Democratic Party. No clear leader, muddled messaging, structural disadvantage, a crumbling coalition, internal divisions, a charisma gap, and a history that punishes weak opposition parties. The point here isn't about the Democrats. It's about how American politics works. Our system rewards unity, clarity, and charisma. Without those things, even a party with millions more votes can still lose the presidency. For Democrats, the challenge is obvious. Rebuild the coalition, and which coalition, sharpen the message and which message, and find a leader who can inspire, whoever that is. If they don't, 2028 won't just be another tough election. It could be the start of a much longer losing streak. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm so grateful that you took the time out to watch this. The Democrats have a serious problem in 2028, and I'm creating more videos just like this so you can stay informed on the ideas that build nations and really help people live better lives. If you want to join me on this journey, hit that subscribe button so we can send you weekly videos. Thanks for watching.